This was a monumental day not only for Mayor Johnson, but for all 46 members of the delegation as they traveled here to the Vatican and met personally with Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope, and incidentally, a guy from Chicago. And it was very clear when we spoke to everyone who was part of the audiences today, it was a Chicago-style meeting through and through. Mayor Johnson arrived this morning, and he had some time to rest before he met the delegation at the Vatican, which was a historic meeting. In a debrief with reporters immediately after, Mayor Johnson said that he and the Pope spoke about the Pope's recent apology for the Church's role in slavery, about support for the marginalized, and challenging policies that lead to war and disenfranchisement, particularly policies of the Trump administration, according to the mayor. Here are some of the mayor's other impressions.
What I witnessed was an incredibly humble individual whose roots really define his leadership in this moment. I think the sort of Chicago-style energy and just his presence is his comfort in his own skin. A pope who can talk about global, international population shift and can have like a good home Chicago argument over the Cubs and the Sox. That's who we are in Chicago.
The delegation brought a whole slew of gifts from Chicago. They included everything from Frango mints and jardiniera to letters from families of detained immigrants. One of the most memorable for me was the t-shirt from Alderman Jason Irvin that said, "God bless the West Side." Here are the thoughts of a few other delegates just before they met with the Holy Father.
The very best of Chicago is going to be showcased right here in the Eternal City.
So important that people of faith come to meet the Pope and to build community with moral leaders thinking about the global issues facing our world.
There were also lighthearted discussions as well. Of course, a discussion about the Cubs versus the Sox. And at one point, someone tried to give the Pope a Cubs hat, and he said, "Oh no, I can't put it on, I'm already wearing a hat." So read that as you will. Just lighthearted moments there, but to a person, everyone talked about how down-to-earth the Pope was, about how soft-spoken he was, but also about how determined he was. He seemed to remind them of their neighbors and the people next door in the city of Chicago where he was born and bred. Mayor Johnson also said he extended an invitation to the Pope to come to Chicago and celebrate Mass for the people of the city. We'll see if and when the Pope is able to accept that invitation. Reporting from the Vatican, I'm Vince Girasoli, CBS News, Chicago.